UFC Fight Night, Dolidze versus Hernandez happens this weekend. I'm going to go through the entire card and give you my prediction and breakdown to every single fight, starting at the early prelims, working all the way up to the main event. Starting first. So, Cody Brundage versus Eric McConaughey. Usually, if this was any other fight, I kind of have a rule in my brain of never picking Cody Brundage. Just because if you look at Cody Brundage's record, it's kind of like it's super iffy. I feel like every time he goes in there, it's more or less just I'll see if I can win. If I can't win, head clash. That's kind of where it's at. I can't pick Cody Brundage. With that being said, I'm going to pick Cody Brundage. I don't think Eric McConaughey, I don't know. It's his second fight in the UFC. I don't know. Cody Brundage has been here before. I don't know. I don't think he can impose his will. Every time Cody Brundage loses, it's because somebody imposes their will on him. I don't think he can do that. I don't think he can go out there and steamroll him like most people can with Cody Brundage. And even then, though, Cody Brundage, looking at his previous fights. So, I thought there was the Malik fight. I thought he lost. So, it looks like he got turned over to a majority decision. Huh. I don't know. And then he has the Julian Marquez fight where he won. He's got the no contest versus Alisson. And then the Bo Nickel fight. Looking at that in retrospect, that one's pretty bad. I don't know. I just can't pick. I don't know. This one's tough. I'm going to go with Cody Brundage. 9 times out of 10, I wouldn't do this. But in this case, I just don't think Eric McConaughey can impose his will on Cody Brundage. I'm going to go with Cody Brundage 29-28 decision. Probably he might lose the first round and then pick it up in the second and third round. I don't think there will be a finish. I'll go with decision there. Moving on. Gabriela Fernandez versus Julia Stoliarenko. So, 10-3 for Gabriela Fernandez. 11-9 for Juliana Stoliarenko. That one's rough. That's pretty bad. That's going in there every other time and be like, well, we might win. It's kind of like a coin toss at that. Literally, it's almost a coin toss. I don't know. Looking at it, they're both, let's see, Gabriela Fernandez, 31. Juliana Stoliarenko is 32. I'm going to have to go with Gabriela Fernandez. Decision. I mean, there's not much to break down here. It's a women's fight. One's 10-3. One's 11-9. One can impose their will a little bit better with 10-3 record. There's not much to go off here. Gabriela Fernandez, decision. Moving on. Uros Medic versus Gilbert Urbina. So, Gilbert Urbina was on, what was it? It wasn't the Contender Series. It was Tough. And I want to say he lost to, who was that in the final? Brian Battle, I want to say. That was like, how many years ago? That was 4 years ago. He's only fought twice since then. At this point in your career, I don't think you're a full-time fighter whenever you're only fighting. You've only fought 2 times in 4 years. That's like you're either dealing with big injuries or you're just not committed to it at all. For that reason, I'm going to go with Uros Medic. I'm going to go by finish. I'm going to go with late rounds finish, body kick, I think. I don't know. Even Uros Medic hasn't looked the best in his last fights when he lost to Puna Soriano. I love Puna. I don't think he's that great by any means. But lost there, beat Tim Means. Tim Means is there. I'll say that. And then, let's see, Maltek Orblai lost submission by Uros Medic. I don't know. We're going to have to go with Uros Medic. I don't think Gilbert Urbina is dedicated to the game whatsoever. 7-4. I feel like the whole card itself is kind of just the new guard versus the Unks a little bit. This fight, not particularly, but the rest of the card. But yeah, Uros Medic, 3rd round. We'll go 3rd round finish, body kick. Moving on, Jocelyn Edwards versus Priscilla Cachoeira. So, Jocelyn Edwards is going to win this one. She's going to win this one by decision. I'm confident in. I do not like Priscilla Capoeira whatsoever. Ever since she had that fight with, what was her name? The redhead chick. I can't think of it. But she was like eye poking her, mouth gouging her whenever she got caught in the submission. Dirty ass fighter. That's all I can say. I don't know why she's in the sport still, why she's in the UFC. After you do that, also don't think she's good. Let's see, her last win. She did have a KO win in her last fight. But I don't think that's going to be anything. Jocelyn Edwards beat Chelsea Chandler in her last fight by finish too. We're going to go with Jocelyn Edwards' decision. There's not much, like I said, the other women's fight, there's not much to break down. They're kind of just there. But I do think Jocelyn Edwards is way better. And then Priscilla Capoeira, shouldn't be in the sport. That's where I'm at with that one. All right. Moving on, Elijah Smith versus Toshiomi Kazama. So, same thing here, too. Momentum is the biggest thing here. Elijah Smith is, let's see, on a hot streak right now. He had his Contender Series win, then he had his debut win against Vince Morales. He's going to win this one. We'll go with first round finish. Toshiomi he's kind of just there. He's nothing special. Let's look at his last fights. Win, lost to Garrett Armfield, lost to Rinya Nakamura. See, I would make fun of you for that, but after last week when Rinya actually looked really good on the feet, won't dog you too bad for that one. But most of the things on here, it's literally every time he has a loss, it's just by KO. I don't think he's going to be anything special. Elijah Smith has some potential for sure. I think he's going to go out there and kind of just steamroll him in the first. He's got the momentum. That's the biggest thing. It's the main thing in sports most of the time. If you look at Charles Oliveira versus Ilia Topuria, huge streak. Charles Oliveira, it's hit or miss. Had a few misses in the last. I feel like that plays such a big role, especially going out there. Elijah Smith, first round finish. Julius Walker versus the guy that loses to everybody, I feel like. Not loses to everybody, but Ibo Aslan. He lost to. Rafael lost to Ibo Aslan, and then he lost to Modestus Bukauskas. If you're losing to those two, Modestus and Ibo Aslan, good luck. Good luck. Julius Walker, he had his last fight. He lost decision split against Alonzo Minifield. I don't think that's bad. I think Alonzo Minifield, though, he's kind of just there. One of those fighters that's just kind of there. But I would put him at the top of the just there fighters. Like he just kind of goes in there. Pat Barry's in his corner, screaming, da-da-da. He kind of just can eat a shot, give a big shot. Kind of just plodding around. But he's like the leader of those guys, if that makes sense. Like, that's kind of where we're at. But if you're losing by finish to Ibo Aslan and Modestus Bukauskas, I don't think you're gonna be anything whatsoever. Julius Walker's probably gonna run right through you. I'm gonna say again, first round finish. That's how he's lost his last two. Julius Walker's gonna beat Rafael, however the hell you say his last name. Julius Walker, first round finish. All right, moving on. Eric Anders versus Christian Leroy Duncan. This one worries me a little bit. I am gonna go with Christian Leroy Duncan. I think he's too light on his feet, can move around a little bit better. Eric Anders is also. Think about what I just said earlier. You have Alonzo Minifield and Eric Anders. Those are like the two top plotty, just there kind of fighters. They're just there. They're kind of special in their own way, if you get what I'm saying. They're just there. They're not going to be top 5 champions. They're not going to be top 5 contenders. They're not going to be anything along those lines. They're kind of more or less the gatekeeper that's a little bit below a gatekeeper, like I would say, of this division. Jack Hermanson would be like the gatekeeper of the division. Like, you beat him, you're going to be something. If not, good luck. I think Eric Anders is a little bit below that. He's kind of like the prospect kind of big match. Like, hey, we got a good prospect. You get through Eric Anders, you might be something, you might not. You beat him, you could lose to a Jack Hermanson still. But with that being said, I am gonna take Christian Leroy Duncan. I'm gonna say decision, but it really worries me. I could see Eric Anders going out there and grappling him. It could be similar to the Christian Leroy Duncan fight and the Gregory Rodriguez fight. Gregory Rodriguez kind of there, took him down a little bit. Then again, I don't think Eric Anders is on Gregory Rodriguez's level whatsoever. But I can't take Eric Anders. He's too plotty. It's almost like Cody Brundage, even though I took Cody Brundage earlier. Cody Brundage is at the lower level of that special group of fighters I was talking about earlier. 38 years old, too, for Eric Anders. Eventually, at some point, that age range is going to catch up to you also. 30 years old for Christian Leroy Duncan. He moves way too well. He's a minus 575 favorite as of the right now, as I'm recording it. Eric Anders is a 425 underdog. Dude, they know a little something. Those numbers usually don't cash on the dog's favorite unless it's like short notice upset or something along those lines. I just think Christian Leroy Duncan's going to move too well. I don't think he's going to finish Eric Anders. I'll go with decision for Christian Leroy Duncan. I'm going to go with 30-27. If I trip on my words one more time, dude, I'm about to just end the shit. All right. Miles Johns versus Gene Matsumoto. Like I said earlier, it's kind of just like Battle of the Ongs versus the newcomers. I am going to go with Gene Matsumoto. I think most people are doing that. Actually not. Minus 285 for Gene. And then, let's see, plus 225 underdog for Miles Johns. So it looks a little bit closer than it is. I've just never been high on Miles Johns. Not an off record, 15-3. Both these guys are coming off a loss. Felipe Lima loss for Miles Johns, and then Rob Font, Gene Matsumoto fight. I think the big thing there, Gene Matsumoto could have made a few changes, and I feel like he would have beat Rob Font. Like, he was right there at that wall. Rob Font's a great test. Kind of more or less the gatekeeper of the bantamweight division here. But I just don't think nothing. Miles Johns I've never watched a Miles Johns fight and be like, holy shit, like this guy's gonna be something. However, when you watch the Gene Matsumoto fight, you're kind of like, you get glimpses a little bit. You're like, there's potential. There's potential in those few seconds. I've never seen that with Miles Johns. That's my issue. I don't think there's gonna be a finish here. I'm gonna go with Gene Matsumoto decision. Kind of just outpace. I do think Miles Johns is going to win a round. Positive on that. I will say probably the last round, Gene Matsumoto kind of gassed in that Rob Font fight. Gene Matsumoto's probably going to go in there, stay strong, shoot for the takedown, do a striking thing. First 2 rounds, I don't think he's going to finish Miles Johns. But I think in the 3rd round, he's probably going to be like, we're up to. Miles Johns took me down. That's kind of where we're going to stay. He's not going to impose his will and finish you. That's just not Miles Johns. Gene Matsumoto, decision. Moving on next, Andre Fili versus Christian Rodriguez. This one worries me also. I am going to go with C-Rod. Decision. The only issue here is C-Rod loses the fights he's supposed to win and wins the fights he's supposed to lose. I think I said that right. Christian Rodriguez, last fight, he lost. Both these guys are coming off the loss to Malika Zelcosta. He's good. Both of those, it's a fair loss. I thought Christian Rodriguez was going to win that fight for sure. But Christian Rodriguez, C-Rod beat Austin Bashi. We just saw last week, Austin Bashi, pretty good. He fought John Giannis. John Giannis came in on short notice, kind of a bum. Hasn't really fought anybody. Just not proven. Steamrolled him there, but he beat them. Then Christian Rodriguez lost to Julian Erosa. How the hell that happens in the big 2024 when this happened, I have no clue. No clue whatsoever. I just think Andre Fili at this point, I love Andre Fili. Love watching his fight style. I think it's great. I just feel like it's super hit or miss right now. I don't know. There's not much momentum there. His last good win was Lucas Almeida when he had a finish. Then he lost to Dan Ige, and he had this super close fight with Cub Swanson that I thought Cub Swanson won. And then he had that last loss to Costa too. I just think Christian Rodriguez is going to be able to impose his will a little bit better. I could see Andre Fili front kicks, good jabs, kind of just keeping Christian Rodriguez at range. But I feel like at some point, Christian Rodriguez is going to hit him with a bomb. Not necessarily a bomb, but a good shot and kind of rock him. I feel like that's the main thing in Andre Fili fights recently is he's been getting rocked and wobbled in all his fights. The Nathaniel Wood fight he got wobbled there. The Lucas Almeida, that one was fine. Dan Ige's a good fighter. But if you're losing to Dan Ige by finish, some things you need to be putting them together a little bit better. Cub Swanson at this point, love Cub, but you're having a split decision with Cub Swanson. Cub Swanson's 40-something years old. That one's tough. I'm going to go with Christian Rodriguez. I don't think he's going to finish Andre Fili. He's not much of a finisher at all. But yeah, we'll go 30-27. I think if Andre Fili does rock him whatsoever, I don't think it's going to be the point where you're like, oh my God, he's going to get him out there. It's going to be like, oh, we might hurt him. Oh, Christian Rodriguez got him down. Kind of one of those things. I'm going to go with C-Rod, 30-27 decision. Moving on. Lasman Lucindo versus Angela Hill. I talked about this last week about Angela Hill. Angela Hill has it's a better fight style than 95% of women's fighters. Most of them hold you against the fence. They're trying to wrestle you. Angela Hill is actually going to go out there and going to try to fight you a little bit. With that being said, though, Angela Hill, I want to say, is 40 years old. Yeah, she's going to be 41 in 6 months. That's going to catch up to you at one point. I'm kind of just waiting for the day that kind of catches up to Angela Hill. Then again, I don't really know how that works in the women's division. We don't really see a lot of older fighters there. It's not like we're in flyweight, men's flyweight, and there's a 40-year-old. That shit just wouldn't happen. But then again, it's women's MMA. So, shit like happens. Lasman Lucindo's got a butterfly tattoo on her neck. Angela Hill's just got an 18-14 record, and she's still here. But yeah, so that's where last fight, Lasman Lucindo lost to Amanda Lemos. That's not bad. I think there was a little iffy fight. I think Amanda Lemos is on the way out of her career more than anything. But then again, I think have Angela Hill and Amanda Lemos fought? I'm pretty positive. That one I'm not sure of off the top of my head. Let me see. Let's just double check real quick. So I feel like they've 100% fought. They not? They have. Split decision. That was in 2021. I thought they fought. Got a fight of the night there. Split. So, that might be a tale of this fight. Angela Hill fought Amanda Lemos on her come up. Split decision. Holy shit. Lasman Lucindo fought her on her way out and lost by unanimous decision. Lasman Lucindo beat Marina Rodriguez. Marina Rodriguez is also retired now, on her way out of her career. At this point, it's hard to pick Angela Hill because she is 18-14. So you kind of just like, she might win, she might lose. At that point, I think Angela Hill might be better, if I'm being honest. I just don't think at this point in their career, Angela Hill is going to beat her. I've got to go with Lasman Lucindo. If I chose Angela Hill and I saw Lasman Lucindo beat her, I'd be like, what the hell are you choosing Angela Hill for? With that being said, Lasman Lucindo, 29-28 decision. I think Angela Hill is going to do her thing like she always does. Kind of just waiting for age to catch up to her. That's the main thing there. She's going to slow down eventually. And at this point, I don't think Angela Hill is ever going to make a run toward the top at this point. Out of the two women, it's going to be Lasman Lucindo. So that's what we'll go with. 29-28 decision. Moving on. No way we're at the end already. I know there's one more. Not on here. Steve Erceg, Ode Osborne. I don't know why that one's not on the UFC.com. I've got it pulled up over here on Tabology. Steve Erceg is going to win that fight. Ode Osborne is he's just there. He's one of those fighters that are just there in the division. It's never gonna be anything great. Not awful by any means. He's just not really anything that's gonna be great. Steve Erceg is coming off 3 losses. It looked pretty bad. Alejandro Pantoja fight, he could have won. He was a few decisions. A 1 decision. Don't go for the takedown in the last round against the grappler and get reversed. And you win the fight. After that, Kai Kara France. All right. Let me throw my chin up here in the air. Oh, yeah. That's what's going to happen when you fight Kai Kara France. It's kind of, you leave your chin up. It's going to happen. And then the Brandon Moreno fight. Holy hell. That Steve Erceg shows up. Maybe Ode Osbourne beats him. Maybe. He was just there. He's just, jab. I'm scared. Don't lock me out. Jab. Yeah. We're gonna pitter patter like Steve Erceg. What the hell? That last fight was actually really bad. He was just there. He literally was just there. He's like, the level of there is, we were talking about Eric Anders earlier. Like, for that night, Steve Erceg was the king of them. But yeah, I mean, Ode Osbourne's, I don't think there's a world right now where Steve Erceg, in his 3rd fight ago, he was about to beat Alejandro Pantoja for the championship. I don't think Ode Osbourne's never going to get to that opportunity where he's going to be like, oh, dude, Ode Osbourne, he almost beat Alejandro Pantoja. No, that's not going to happen. I think this is a good fight. Ode Osbourne's taking it on short notice too. Steve Erceg was supposed to fight Park, who fought Tatur Teira last week. That would have been a good little scrap, a little bit better. But I think Ode Osbourne's stepping in, or he is stepping on short notice. I don't know if he had an upcoming fight or not, but he's taking it on short notice. Steve Erceg's like, this is it. Like, you're rolling a 3-fight loss streak. You have another loss. It's either bottom of the rankings fight you're going to get there, not even in the rankings, or you're cut from the UFC. Steve Erceg's got to win this one. I think he's going to come out there and win. I think he's going to do the same thing a little bit in the Brandon Moreno fight. I just don't think Ode Osbourne can impose his will like a Brandon Moreno. I think he's going to pitter-patter a little bit. It's going to be a little bit better. It's going to be my assumption. He's going to go out there and fight a little bit better. Steve Erceg is going to impose his will. I just don't think Ode Osbourne can kind of push that pace of not letting Steve Erceg go. I think he'll look a little bit better. I think we might see a little bit of the old Steve Erceg. I do think he's going to be a shell of his former self. It might be the Dominic Reyes situation where it's like, dude, holy shit, man. He almost beat John Jones. And then it kind of just ends up where you go on a huge streak. It's literally almost the same exact thing. We'll call Alejandro Pantoja John Jones. And then Kai Kara France would be legendary Polish power for, hell, I can't even think today. Y'all get what I'm saying. It's kind of that situation. I think if he does build up momentum, it's going to take him a minute. But yeah, I'm going to go Steve Erceg 30-27 decision. Unanimous. I think Ode Osbourne might have like a flash moment of, oh, I got you right there with the 1-2. That was clean. But I think Steve Erceg could change levels, kind of switch it up. I'm going to go decision, Steve Erceg. Moving on to the main event. Roman Dolidze, Anthony Hernandez. 15-3 Roman Dolidze, 14-2 Anthony Hernandez. I'm going to go ahead and get this out of the way so you guys don't have to listen to me ramble about this fight. Any man that loses to Marvin Vettori, I cannot choose you. Simple as that. I know Roman beat him in his last fight, but 2 years ago, you lost to Marvin Vettori by decision. That shouldn't happen in your career. I know Paulo Costa lost. That was Paulo Costa fighting demons. We love Paulo Costa now. But I can't. I just can't. I mean, Anthony Smith decision, at that point in Anthony Smith's career, you should be finishing. I know Roman Dolidze went up on short notice to take that fight up a weight class too. But dude, Anthony Smith, dude, impose your will somewhat, and you're going to get a finish there. At that end point of his career, Anthony Hernandez, Anthony Hernandez. Anthony Smith was kind of, I'm going to go out there and give you a little bit, and if you stop me, I'm going to get finished. It's kind of the thing. I don't want to sound like a complete dickhead on these breakdowns, but it's the truth. It's the hard truth. Some fighters aren't meant to be fighters in that situation, if that makes sense. Kevin Holland, the rib injury, that one was a little questionable. Kevin Holland kind of just like, not necessarily quit there, but he took a fight a few months after. Kevin Holland's good too. Good grappling, he got him there. And then in his last fight, Roman beat Marvin Vettori. But Anthony Hernandez on a hot streak right now. Beat Brendan Allen. Brendan Allen's a big dummy sometimes when it comes to fights, just bad decisions. Hey, yeah, let's go for a guillotine while we're on top position. No, let's not do that. Let's try to win and make a run for the title. But yeah, I think Brendan Allen was in that fight. If he had better brain decisions, he could have beat Anthony Hernandez, but he didn't. Anthony Hernandez won. Also kind of outworked him toward the end of the fight. That's Anthony Hernandez's biggest thing there. It's just outworking everybody. I think both of them are going to have a strong grappling style. I think it's probably going to nullify each other for the first few rounds, but I think anybody's going to push the pace. It's going to be Anthony Hernandez. If I see anybody winning in the later rounds, it's going to be Anthony Hernandez. I don't see Roman Dolidze. He kind of just there, pitter-patter, like plotty on his feet, kind of going around. I think if Anthony Hernandez can push a pace from the beginning, I think he's going to get this one done convincingly. I am going to say Anthony Hernandez is going to win for sure. Just like I said, Marvin Vettori. After I see Marvin Vettori fight Brendan Allen and just make dumbass decisions in every single fight, I can't. You lost to Marvin Vettori at one point in your career. That's like losing to Cody Brundage at one point in your career. That one's tough. Rethink about your MMA career. But with that being said, I am going to go Anthony Hernandez. He's going to be something. I'm positive he's going to be top 5 one day. I'm going to go Anthony Hernandez. Decision or late rounds, 4th round or 5th round submission or TKO. It's hard to pick because he kind of just takes what's given. Just like the Michelle Pereira fight. He couldn't get the submission, so he kind of just took the TKO against him there. Like, he just beat his ass up against the side of the cage. But yeah, that's the main thing there. I'm probably going to say, if he is going to get something, I'm going to say, dude, why not? We'll go 4th round. 4th round, 4 minutes, 37 seconds on the clock. He jumps guillotine from top mount. Not the Brendan Allen way where you give up position and then lose the damn fight. He makes the smart, calculated decision where he's been beating your ass for 3 rounds, and then he'll jump it because he knows you're over. Like, you can't do anything. Anthony Hernandez, 4th round, jumps the guillotine just like the Rodolfo Vieira win, which I remember watching that live a couple of years ago. Lost my mind. Everybody was hyping up Rodolfo Vieira like he was the next Charles Oliveira on the ground, all this, and then Fluffy goes out there. This was still thicker Fluffy. Fluffy doesn't look as good as he does now. This was still a little chunk Anthony Hernandez. Goes out there, catches him the guillotine. Dude, could have lost my shit. Lost it. Such good there. I just, at this point, Anthony Hernandez, super momentum. Roman Dolidze does have some momentum. It's just not as good momentum as Anthony Hernandez. And momentum is a hell of a thing in this sport. So, that is my breakdown to UFC Fight Night Dolidze versus Hernandez. I will be live Saturday streaming the fights. Try to go live last Saturday, but for some reason YouTube changed their standards and you have to wait 24 hours for permission after you try to go live. So I went live on a different channel. I was still there. But if you're seeing this, please come talk to me. Come chill. Come hang out. I kind of just sit there and break down the fights the whole time. If anybody enters the chat, we're kind of just yapping there. Don't really have much people joining at this point, but hey, this is just the beginning of it. We're gonna be something one day. I love the sport. It's kind of one of the main things I look forward to every weekend. I've been watching the sport for a long time, and also it's kind of just the hard, cold truth I like to tell. You don't really sugarcoat anything in the sport. I mean, at the end of the day, they are fighting. Fighters are going to be sensitive, but you just kind of go with the hard, cold truth at the end of the day. But that's my breakdown and predictions for UFC Fight Night, Dolidze versus Hernandez. I'm going to try to film another video for you guys this week, and then if not, I'll see you guys Saturday, or I'll see you in the video then. And like, subscribe. See you guys later.